What up, Hyperchange? Welcome to another episode. Today we're talking about the most recent news from Tesla and the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration. The Model 3 has just come in as the safest car they have ever tested. Tesla released a full blog post about this on Sunday, detailing more of the specifics and how the Model 3 performed so well in each of the different categories. They have a ton of crazy cool videos, or a little bit scary videos, but comparing the different tests with internal combustion engine vehicles and the leaders in the safety categories versus the Model 3. And there is just some astounding stuff in here showing how the Model 3 is by far the safest car on the road. Tesla even tweeted this graphic, which they included in their blog post, which just it tells the entire story here. Literally the safest car that you could ever get in terms of personal injury is the Model 3. The number 2 and 3 are the Model S and X. Tesla builds the safest cars in the world. That's not an understatement. And this is hugely important. And for as much as, I love to talk about how Tesla is the longest range electric vehicles, the fastest cars on the road, the coolest looking cars on the road, over-the-air software updates, autopilot, self-driving technology, all of this fancy tech that goes into Tesla's cars is amazing. But the number one reason that people buy a car is not any of that fancy tech. It's, you guessed it, safety. Sirens, because we're recording in New York City, so 1 second. But yeah, safety, sort of an interesting little sound effect there, because this is the most important thing when you're buying a car. Think about it. If you want to keep your family safe, more sirens. Oh my. Somebody wasn't driving a Tesla, and look at what happened. No, but seriously, so safety is the number one reason that customers buy a car, and Tesla is literally setting a new precedent for the auto industry in terms of safety for its cars. And this is just from a personal injury perspective, from a crash test perspective, not even including, if you start to factor in the autopilot capabilities that the cars has that make it so you're even less likely to get into a crash. Safety above all else at Tesla is paramount and the first thing that they build into their vehicles. And so to me, these are the little things that I think just don't get enough attention from the press, from the media, from even Tesla itself. But this is what really matters to car buyers, is keeping their family safe. If you're driving your kids around, you want the safest car on the road. That just really matters. And the fact that Tesla is literally pushing the envelope on what is the safest car on the road. And it's not just one of their cars, it's all three of them have set the record. This is just phenomenal. This is why I love Tesla the brand, because I think they're just proving that they are building the best products on the road with data like this. And so you might be asking, why is Tesla able to do this? The first reason is that they're electric vehicles. Electric vehicles have far less moving parts than the internal combustion engine, specifically a huge motor in the front of the car, which when you crash can go through the front of the car, causing a ton of damage. That's in the Model S, the Model 3, the Model X is actually a free zone, the front trunk, which can act as a crumple zone, which vastly improves the safety from a front crash. So there's all these sort of components where the simplicity of the electric car and the way that there's these huge metal frame built around a massive battery and everything can be done at the center of the car is just from a physics perspective much safer of a vehicle. And so that is a huge reason why Tesla's been able to break these records, because they're building purely electric cars. Now you might be saying, well, there's other companies that build purely electric cars. Why are they not able to do this as well? The other big reason is that Tesla's dedicated production lines for electric vehicles. A lot of other car makers don't. They're adapting sort of hybrid production lines to build ICE cars and electric vehicles. The problem with this is you're making a ton of compromises when you're building the car if you're on a hybrid production line where you're not fully taking advantage of all the benefits of the radical redesign that being electric allows you to do. And without doing that radical redesign, you're cutting corners on potentially making the safest car possible. And that's the reason why their EVs, like the GM's Bolt and the I-Pace and the Taycan, when their safety ratings come out, won't be as good as the Teslas, because they're not building them on dedicated production lines. So once again, this ability for Tesla to be the safest car on the road is a consequence of them being a first mover and fully investing and building a car company from the ground up for this electric autonomous revolution, not adapting legacy internal combustion engine technology. And so that is why I wanted to highlight this. And I'm not a physics guy, I'm not an expert in crash safety, I'm not an expert in even vehicle manufacturing, so take everything I just said with a big grain of salt, but that is my understanding. And if you have any other theories on why Tesla is able to really just build the safest cars on the road, mean, they also have a ton of little tech stuff in there, like a patented way to reinforce the side pillars of the car, which I didn't fully understand, but they mentioned in the blog post. So anyway, any help to break down why Tesla is building the safest cars on the road would be awesome. Please leave it in the comments below. But I just think this is a huge competitive advantage. I mean, at the end of the day, this is why Tesla's cars are worth a huge premium, setting all the other awesome stuff aside, because they're literally keeping you as safe as possible. I don't think there's a price high enough to pay for safety. If you like the show, definitely check out our Patreon page. Consider supporting there. Anyway, this is Hyperchange. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.